the size of the block and the reservoir size, it takes 1 to 3 years or maximum 5 to 10 years. When there is a trace of hydrocarbon, then the operator starts the development, the construction of pipeline, construction of OCS, DCS, etc., etc. So to make all those takes, it takes another 1 to 5 years, depending on the volume of the field. And after that, 15 to 30 or 15 to 50, maximum that much is the year where the operator will do the full-fledged production, because he has got all setup done for development activities and the production. After that, when the oil goes dry, then the operator leaves the area, restores the area, and plugs the well and leaves the site. So these exploration activities are carried out under with the environment clearance under B2 category, and development activities are carried out with a environment clearance under A category from central government. Next slide. So this is the first step. The seismic survey has to be done moment a block given. Then the operator will do the seismic survey to decide where to drill. After getting the data from the seismic survey, it is being analyzed to the experts, and then they pinpoint the location where I can drill. Go for exploratory drilling. For that, seismic survey is the first step to start the ENP activity after allotment of the block. Next slide. Once the oils, if you get strike, then the refinery comes, then you get all those products, petroleum gas, gasoline, naphtha, so and so. Next slide. Now, sir and madam, to do these activities, you have to comply the prevailing rules, regulations, norms of the land, the law of the land. Next slide. This is the vast compliance universe of India. Whatever kind of business you do, this is the total acts and compliances. Total in the national and state level, we have got total 1,536 acts, and compliances you have to do 69,233, and you have to filing is available in the nationwide 6,618. Next slide. Here we have shown that every segment, environment, health, safety, finance, taxation, general, commercial, secretarial, industry specific, labor. So these are the acts one has to comply. Next slide. Oil and gas activities. These are the slide what I have shown here. This is the basic approvals required, without which the operator cannot start an activity in a block. So operator has to be given first the PEL and PML. So grant of PML, we are again dependent with the district administrators, because that is being executed by the district administrator in some cases. In some cases, it is being directly dealt by the Department of Geology, Mining, and somewhere it is the Ministry of Petrochemical and Industries, and in Tripura it is called Industry and Commerce. It varies state to state. So after getting that, the operator has to get environment clearance, consent to operate, etc., from Pollution Control Board, NOC from groundwater, then the forest clearance if there is a forest land, then the wildlife clearance if it is a wildlife approved or ESZ area is there, then CRZ clearance if it is a coastal area. Then you require the approval from PESO for the this tank and all those pipeline, etc. Then also parallelly, before start of drilling, the operator has to open the mine. It has to be declared as a mine. So under Mines Act, a mine also has to be opened. So here the grant of PML, the EC we are dependent with the district administrator. Then the forest clearance we are dependent with the district administrator, and the PESO approval. How we will tell in the subsequent slides. Next slide. So oil and gas ENP activities in Indian sedimentary basin. The current status is vast area unexplored, and blocks are relinquished by the operator as on date. Next slide. Government of India allotted 310 blocks, out of which 218 blocks has been relinquished by the national international operators, and 16 more are under process of relinquishments. Main causes is abnormal delay in getting clearance, approval, NOC, certificate, license, lease, permissions. So Government of India has now taken aggressive exploration program to tap undiscovered 80% hydrocarbon reserve. And for that, Government of India has also launched Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan on 12th May 2020. So Government of India plans or have a vision by 2050, India should be self-reliant on the hydrocarbon oil and gas. Next slide. This is to show that we have got out of the 26 basins, the blue ones are the category 1, 7 basins where the oil has been discovered, commercial production are there. In right bottom to the that we are showing that even in the category 1 in the blue in the top, 80% is still undiscovered. Even we are telling only category 1, only 7 basins. We have got category 2, we have got another 5 basins which are oil discovery is there, but commercial production has not started. So we are not talking about that. Even the category 1, we have left 80% undiscovered. And the extreme right top, we are showing there are 85% resources lying idle. 2, 3, we are not talking about now. Next slide. So what the government of because of internet delay getting approval, clearance, lease, etc. What the action government of India has taken? Next slide. So Government of India has a vision to reducing oil import 10% by 2022. And Government of India launched in February 16, Hydrocarbon Vision 2030 for Northeast India. And the one report was released. Report was titled as Enhancing Domestic Oil and Gas Exploration and Production in the Indian Basins. This report was prepared under chairmanship of Vice Chairman Niti Aayog. And it was released in January 2019. It has given a lot of suggestions. Then Union Cabinet Committee in its meeting on 19 February 2019 constituted a import coordination committee under chairmanship of Cabinet Secretary to resolve the delayed approvals. Then Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, you are well aware, and the Government of India has also launched in January 2021 National Single Window Systems Investment Clearance Cell introduced by Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So these are the moves are on by Government of India to attract oil and gas E&P activities. Next slide. So this is the Cabinet Committee, what the Import Coordination Committee formed on 19 February. It consists, chairman is the Cabinet Secretary and other members are the Secretary Cooperation, Cabinet Secretary, Secretary MOPNG, Secretary Ministry of Environment, Director General of Forest and Special Secretary MOFCC, Secretary Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Home Affairs, Secretary Department of Space, Director General of Hydrocarbon is the convener, and the Chief Secretaries of the individual states, PCCF and HOP, PCCF and Wildlife of the concerned states are also membered and they were called to this meeting. And so far, 3 meetings already have taken place, and last meeting had on 14 September 2020, and 4th one is likely to happen soon. Next slide. So this is the just to show that how serious the import coordination committee. This is the abstract from the minutes. It states that state government should comply all those things, and an additional chief secretary level officer in the state government may review the status of these cases, all the approval and clearances with the department concerned, like mines revenue, so on monthly basis. So this is the directive from the cabinet secretary. Next slide. So now our earnest request, we are now gradually going to our business side. So towards our aim to Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, and our honorable DC, DM, collectors, ADCs, DMs, they can contribute a lot, and we seek your help, cooperation, and support to keep this venture on. Just to appraise you, sir, madam, that oil and gas E&P activities will be viable probably, this is my personal guess, maybe another 2 to 3 decades, because now all the renewables are coming, and if we can do some extraction first way, we can reduce our import burden because we import around 80% of crude oil, and we spent around $101.4 billion in the last 2019-20. So we can reduce at least coming to 3 decades. Next slide. Next slide. This is only will go slowly bit, that when a block starts activities, how it is dependent with the district administrator. During there are two stages we have divided. One during the project execution stage. Second is the say operation stage, or the say on the basis of regular operation or development activities. First is the grant or execution of PL, PML deed. That is the basic thing has to be there, with which the operator will access to the area and start his survey, and will decide where to drill, what to do, and how many wells to drill, all those things. So there we are dependent with the first decisions by the DCDMs and collectors. Then when we start the ENP activities, taking all the probable stakeholders in the vicinity into the board, so that all happens, the operation happens smoothly. Then assisting in land acquisitions, you require land for the drilling locations, land required for the when you find the oil for the production installations. So there we require a big help from the office of the district collector, district commissioner, district magistrates. Then there is a appointment of CA. We again require help from you, because under the PMP Act for the pipeline right of way, when you want to do the ROU acquisition, ROU, in that time we require a CA, which is notified through Gazette by the MOPNG, but the CA is being appointed or decided by the DCDMs. Then organizing public hearing for the A category project related to the environment clearance. That is another issue where we are dependent, and which is a mandatory requirement under EIA notification 2006. Then issuance of FRA 2006 certificate in connection with the forest clearance under purview of the scheduled tribe and other traditional forest dwellers, recognition of Forest Right Act, without which the forest clearance stage 1 is not granted. Identification and allotment of CA land for the private operators. For the forest clearance for the private operators, they are not allowed to get degraded forest land from the forest department. So they only then approach to the DCDMs collectors for giving degraded revenue land. So that land allotment, if it is fast, their forest clearance will be fast. Issuance of NOC for both PSU and private operator if there is no CA land available in the district, either in the degraded forest land or degraded revenue land. Then approval of plan, drawing, etc. Whenever you go for PESO approval, the PESO approval, drawing, plan, etc. need to be stamped and signed by the DCDM. That is the mandatory requirement under the provision of the Act. So the early the things are being done, then only the PESO approval will be faster. Then we require a NOC from the Town Planning Committee under the provision of the Town and Country Planning Act about the green belt development. So these are the all requirements we require during the project execution stage, help and assistance cooperation from the DCDMs. Next slide. During the operation phase, we require the approval of offsite disaster management plan. A document is being prepared, and the DCDM has to certify that one. DCDM has to certify that for that one. Then implementation of the schemes, the implementation of the schemes, those which are being decided during public hearing. During public hearing, the public will raise some issues which are being recorded and minuted, and operator has to fulfill it and comply it, and they will comply it in consultation with the office of DCDM. And apart from that, the CSR project also which are to be implemented, it is under direct supervision of the DCDM's office. Organizing periodic onshore coordination committee meetings. This is related to the for the pipeline safety onshore coordination committee. It is presently happening in the 10 states: Assam, West Bengal, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Tripura, Nagaland, Jharkhand. So this is also being done by the office of DC and SPs. Eviction of encroachment over the pipeline right of way. This is another issue. Is a very serious and threatening issue. So far, we referred the Gale pipeline fire in Andhra Pradesh in 2014, like that. So another help we require from the district is the pilferage from the operating pipelines. This is a chronic thing happens in the crude oil pipeline and the petroleum product pipeline. This does not happen to the gas pipeline of the Gale, because gas they cannot do any, the miscreants cannot sell it. But these crude oils and the crude oils are being sold to the nearby tea garden because they use it as a furnace oil, and the finished product they can sell as easily to the market. So, but for that, arresting this, the PMP Act has got a very strong provision, but which is being not basically implemented, because according to, we'll come to that later on. Then we request that land bank creation in the district for the compensatory afforestation purpose, so that the forest clearance for the private operators can be faster. Then sensitive oil and gas installation to declare as a prohibited area under the provision of the Official Secret Act 1923. This we felt to be necessity because recently when we had an incident in Baghjan, so we found that the people with the vested interest, they applied drone with camera to take the snaps over the installations of oil. So that time we realized that there should be a, because these are, whether it's a refinery, whether it's a oil gas installation, production installation, tank pump, these are very sensitive installations. So this has to be kept or taken or under prohibited area clause, so that some restriction is there for the tea passers. Similarly, oil gas installation in the sensitive borders, say it is like in Rajasthan, the Jaisalmer and all, then the border close to Bangladesh in Tripura and all. So those areas, those sensitive borders also has to be put into the high alert installation with the Ministry of Home Affairs. That DCDM has to assist us. Then they are also declaring the industrial estate or industrial area of the various operators depending upon the activity or the size of the thing. Then assisting for the offsite periodic mock drills, mock fire drills. Then granting permission for tree cutting in the premises. Then the DCDMs act as the chairman of the District Disaster Management Authority. Then law order issue and security for the man and machines during ENP operation projects or operation phase, and periodic awareness campaign on various issues from time to time. These are the helps we require during operational phase. Next slide. These are the most critical, and any delay anywhere, it delays the whole project. Like the early grant of PL, PML, if it is delayed, then the activity starts delayed. Land acquisition delayed, then the project activity starts delayed. Then competing public hearing is delayed, then we don't get environment clearance, you cannot start the project. Issuance of forest certificate delayed, then you don't get forest clearance to start the activity in forest. Allotment of degraded CLN to private operator, if it is delayed, then the forest clearance is not there, then the project delayed. Issues of NOC for arranging CLN from other districts, then also it gets delayed. PESO approval, same, it is the delay, it affects the projects. Arresting the pilferage from the operating pipeline, then eviction, then after the stage one, this is another problems we have been facing in Northeast basically, that after stage one FC approval has been done and the operator has paid the NPV, CA, etc., but there are encroachers in the forest land unauthorized. They are not the forest dwellers attracted under FRA 2006. They are the encroachers, and they don't vacate the site. And though they are not supposed to be paid the compensation, but still the operators from their side, under provision of their own regulations and norms, they offer something which they do not have. This is the case happening now. In one case is now live in Golaghat for ONGC's project, and Tripura also is one project is there where it is that they are facing the problem. And law and order issue and security for the man and machine. These are the vital helps very much required for the everyday day-to-day activities. Next slide. Now we are coming to topics that the public hearing. It is normally for the oil and gas projects. Now every point will show, and now we'll seek comments from the individuals if we have anything. So it is taking 45 days stipulated time as per AI notification, but it takes long time. Next slide. Next slide. This is we are showing that against the 45, we have taken the projects of Assam. So 45 is the scheduled time as per AI notification. You have to complete the public hearing which is organized by Pollution Control Board in consultation with the Office of DC. So here we have taken 11 projects of Oil India. So here we find that this public hearing has been completed in 306 days, 220 days, 765 days, 306 days. In the bottom, we have shown that when it was applied and when it was conducted. And these are all in Assam related to the district of Dibrugarh, Tinsukia, and Shivsagar and Charidur. So these delays. Next slide. So now we seek your opinions, that sir and madam, that how you suggest that how this delay can be arrested, and we feel that if a nodal officer from the office of CQM is nominated, it may help. So we seek any comment, anybody, any of our esteemed guests, if you can throw some light that how we can, that the public hearing related to the environment clearance, this 45 days, okay, 45 days you can do 1 month, 2 months to arrest this delay. Any suggestion from any DCDMs who are all present here? Anybody, please? From Dibrugarh, somebody is there. Mr. Dipu Deka from Tinsukia, you have any idea you can give? The next slide. Next slide is the delay in FRS 2006 certificate under provision of schedule types, and it is taking 1.5 years on average. Next slide. This is the total flowchart we have drawn that FRA certificate that after submission of application to the Integrated Tribal Development Project Office of the District Commissioner Office, then the project proponent has to do carried out the Gram Sabha hearing and take the resolution from the concerned FRC committee, and then you submit it to the ITDP. Then there is a subdivisional level meeting has to happen. Then there has to be district level meeting, and then only the DCDM can issue a FRA certificate. Next slide. So we will show that some example how much delay it is taking. Next slide. So these are the 11 proposals of ONGC under DC Golaghat, which are pending for first 3 proposals are pending for more than almost 5.2 and 4.8 years. And in the bottom 8 proposals are 1.25 years, and some are almost 1 year. It is still in the zero stage. Next slide. These are we are showing that ONGC Tripura, the FRA certificate in the extreme top left, 2.7 years. In the right side one, 5 years. And this is HOC's project, and they got it first in 1.5 years. And here they have shown that how much each column shows that how much time taken in each phase. Next slide. So is it possible that we had a meeting with the Ministry of Tribal Affairs? We requested them whether you can formulate some SOP, a time-bound SOP for granting this FRA certificate. Then it was advised to us it has to be taken care by the respective DCDMs in their level. They can do it in the local level. So our request is that is it possible to develop a SOP with a fixed timeline? And we have made one SOP. Next slide. This is one SOP we have. It is up to each DCDMs to decide. So we have thought that with a 6-month timeline, by taking into the practical things into the ground after handling, if it has to be in the right side, in the right boxes, we have given all the activities which have to be done. So we will forward to you, to all the individual DCDMs, to take a considerations, and if you can help, this will be this can fasten the FRA 2006 certificate issuance. Next slide, please. This like getting the land for the revenue land for the compulsory afforestation is a big challenge. For PSU, it is given by the Department of Forest, and for the private operator, it has to be given by the DCDMs collectors. Next slide. So here we are, why we are insisting more on the CA land, because when you see the northeast specifically, here the the forest cover is very high. So every ENP project of northeast, whatever oil and gas you take, it will attract the forest clearance. So you will require the forest clearance, CA land, a forest certificate, all those picture will come, which is not there much in either Rajasthan or Gujarat or in Andhra Pradesh when you do the activities. Next slide. One case study will show that how much delay it is taking getting a CA land. Next slide. So, Sir and Madam, we will like to appraise that the Government of India as per the plan for reducing oil import 10% by 2022. So, Government of India, what they did from the two national oil companies, Oil India and ONGC, they have carved out the discovered areas, the areas which are discovered, but the productions has not been started by the national oil companies. Government has taken those one and allotted to the multiple small operators with aim that since these fields are already discovered, to immediate start the production. So these fields are called discovered small field. In short, it is called DSF. So DSF 2 blocks was allotted in the year 2016 and 2016. One to Messrs Ramayana for the block is called Dipling in the district Shivsagar in Charidao and Dibrugarh districts, and they require 3.06 hectares CA land, and till today they have not got the CA land, and land was not available with the disease concerned in the division. Then it was tried from the North Kachar Autonomous Hill Council, and land given twice found to be inviolate for things. So the issue yet not resolved. So this DSF block could not start production yet. Similarly, the fate to another block of Duarmara of Messrs Oilmax in Tinsukia districts, they require 9.3 hectares CA land, which was not available in Tinsukia district. And now they are trying similar way, like Ramayana tried in the northeast, in the North Kachar Hill Autonomous Council. So we are waiting. So these two blocks of DSF, those production was supposed to start in 2017. These both blocks got started because of that. That's why we are requesting to create a land bank for the CA, so that if it is readily available, that these problems can be resolved instantly. Next slide. So this is the only suggestion. The revenue of the creation of degraded land bank only can resolve these issues. Otherwise, this will continue. And degraded forest land, of course, even if it is available in the district, that cannot be given to the private operator as per the Act. Next slide. So another big issue is the land issue. It is under the provision of the Right of Fair Compensation, Transparency, Land Acquisition and Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act 2013. Next slide. So here in Northeast, it takes almost 70 months or 6 years to complete that entire process. And land revenue records also are discrepancies or non-updated or unavailability of records in most of the cases. These are the main constraints in the field. So there is no clear guideline for identification of affected family, causing difficulties in implementing provision under the Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act. This has come newly under the Act 2013. The affected family is not properly defined. Then provision of temporary occupation of land is for maximum 3 years, whereas you find that land acquisition process takes 6 years. So it is a request that it can be increased from 3 to 6 years. Next slide. The social impact assessment study, which has come under the new Act, should be undertaken only for if the land acquisition is more than 10 hectares, not even for 2-3 hectare or small hectare, like for dealing locations. These provisions, it can then fasten the process. Then proper guidelines not there in regard of obtaining consent from the affected families, because as per the new Act, the consent required from the for 80% for the private firms, and for the PPPs it is 70% consent required. And option of land leasing may be thought in line with the state of Rajasthan, The Rajasthan government has done it by bringing legislations, which is an easier option to get rid of land acquisition process. And in certain cases, even after acquisition, the local people, they do not allow to carry out the demarcation. Those are exclusive cases. This has been faced by Kane only in the district of Barmer, Sanchur, Jalore, and Jaisalmer. These are exclusive cases, but others are the general to all, applicable to all across the country. Next slide. This is the long process. It is not readable. I am just showing the process, that why it takes 6 years, just to show that. Next slide. So here only your opinion matters. Can a single window, single point of contract be created, led by an officer not below the rank of Commissioner Joint Secretary? This will help to expedite the land acquisition process. Can it be considered that temporary occupation period from 3 years to 6 years can be increased? Whether social impact assessment can be considered only for land acquisition more than 10 hectares, and option for land leasing. So these are the seeing the complications in the Land Act in 2013. So these are the we put to your attention for consideration for helping this sector for carrying out its activity in a easy manner. Next slide. Next, this is another suggestion only for consideration, sir and madam. The Rajasthan government has done because what they have done, Rajasthan government, that any pipeline right of way, 10 meter in both sides, any inhabitation is banned. And if it is a oil gas installation, whether it is a refinery or is a tank farm or a oil gas station, 50 meter inhabitation has been banned, and they have done it to the provision of land revenue conversion of agricultural land for non-agricultural purpose in rural areas with amendment in 2008. This we are requesting you to do it considering the two fire, the Jaipur oil depot fire, which happened in October 2009, and we could see the how much disaster it can create. The 12 people died because it was surrounded by the public. And the GAIL pipeline fire, when the people were there above the pipeline or the vicinity, and 18 people got killed, and it happened in 27 June 2014. So like Rajasthan, it is only we are bringing to attention. If you can think, you can also implement to your districts and in line with Rajasthan for safety of man and machines. Next. Then the pilferage, we would like to tell that it is a very, very vulnerable things because what happens, the oil, basically oil, gas line, they do not do it. Oil, it flows in a very high pressure. And what the miscreants they do, they have got the technologies and the experts they bring from Mumbai or somewhere. So they, in the running line, they do the hot tapping. They do the hot tapping, and they put a valve. And by night time, they make a temporary arrangement of pipe, small pipeline. So they bring tanker in odd hours of night and take the oils and gas, and they take it. But what happens, these are not the safety mechanism, because sometimes it can create a blast, and moment there is a blast, it will create a fire and all. So these need to be discouraged and to be stopped at any cost. But there is a very, under PMP Act, it is a very strong provisions is there. According to PMP Act, it is considered as a cognizable and non-bailable offence. But unfortunately, this has been not implemented by the SPs or the police stations and all. So we draw your attention that pilferage, it can be stopped, it will help. And in this regard, Secretary Mupindi had written 2 letters to the chief secretaries of all the states of the country. We'll show those letters. Next slide. So these are some incidents. These figures we had to furnish to the standing committee of Rajya Sabha in July 14. So those figures, how much, the top one we have shown that how much is the pilferage happens, numbers. Top ones is the field, and the bottom the pilferage tank pipeline, you see 63, 5, 11, 7 sabotage. And in the last 3 years in pilferage in IOCL pipeline are 143, and IOCL, BPCL, HPCL have together lost crude oil and finished product of worth rupees 350 to 400 crores in the last decade. And IOCL, BPCL, and HPCL lose products worth nearly 2 to 3 crores in every quarter because of these pilferages. Next slide. These are the letters from the Secretary MOPNG to the respective chief secretaries. Two letters, once 19 February 2008. Next. This is another one in 17/4/2008. Next. So ease of doing business. So we are doing, India is now ranking as per 2018 report. We are in 100th, and we are leading towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat. So next slide. We draw attention only the early grant of PAL, PML, CLN allotment on priority, eviction of encroachments over pipeline, prohibited area declaration under Provision of Official Secret Act, amicably resolving the local environmental problem. These are also chronic things in certain areas, especially northeast and other parts, or in Rajasthan also, like Kane is facing that even after allotment of the land, the demarcation process is hampered. These are the all local environmental problems. So here we will suggest also to all the recipients, if you can have planned for a monthly review meeting with the user agencies on a fixed day on every month, like DC Changla and Mr. Devans has scheduled it every Wednesday of the first Wednesday of every month for 1 hour. He has scheduled. So he meets all the operator and all the issues are discussed and it gets resolved faster. There may be all varieties, land, whatever maybe all gets here. And a designated nodal officer may be facilitate for timely issuance of NOC approval, drawings, etc. for PESO approval and other matters also. So that every time they don't go and disturbs the DCDMs. This is our suggestions for considerations to our esteemed guests. Next slide. Now we come one by one. If anybody of you have, because now you express your views, we have told our point of concern issues in totality. So now you may also have to say something for the operators, or you may have something in mind. So shall I request Mr. Devans Jadhav from DC Changlang sir? Sir, you have can you have anything to say or advise us also, the operators, because all operators across the pan India is here. Your views, sir. Anything you want to tell us?
Very good afternoon, Lady. Thank you for having us, and it was a good presentation. And you have rightfully highlighted many issues. One thing is regarding public hearing and all, we don't need a nodal officer, as already DLRSO, who is the main land officer of the district, is a nodal officer for all these oil and other hydrocarbon related matters. So that way is one nodal person we are already having in the district. However, with regards to the timeline issue, I think whenever an application is given, the concerned deputy commissioner can be asked in a written communication by the secretary of that state that how much tentative time would be taken for conducting the process, be it FRA, be it land acquisition, be it anything. So once the deputy commissioner gives a commitment after he assesses the ground situation, then based on that commitment, any delays or any issues can be flagged to him on a regular basis. That is one way which I would recommend, that we can hold district administration accountable for any delays which are happening. Because for the same process, one district might be taken 2 months, while the other might be taking 6 months. So it depends on the local ground situation, how much public is cooperative, how is the geography of the area, accessibility, whether COVID pandemic stops the issue. So all these things are there. This kind of an arrangement can definitely help. And apart from that, yes, definitely WhatsApp groups to discuss all the issues and have a regular communication between PSUs and other companies and the administration. It will also help bridge the gap, and we can inform the higher ups that where the delay is, because many times things are just missed in the sound noise. So I think these three recommendations I would have. Apart from that, I think many issues have been sorted, at least in our district, and we are hoping for a fruitful association. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. You have told the things rightly, sir, and we are getting all help from you. Can I request our collector, sir from Surat? Sir, if you have anything to tell, sir, please.
Namaste, I'm Dr. Dhaval Patel, Collector Surat. We have large hydrocarbon complexes in Hazira. One or two things regarding this land acquisition issues. Land acquisition issues, the Act itself lays down the timeline for, let's say, 1 year from primary to the final notification, and the next would be before declaration of award. So, in effect, I think the statutory time limit is 2 years. So, but the only issue is, let's say, in Gujarat, as far as I know, Reliance has a separate Kala assigned for Reliance-related land acquisition proceedings. But for usually, let's say, if there is a state government or central government-owned PSU, there are no designated competent authorities for land acquisition. So it usually falls to the SDM or land acquisition officer, who are anyhow overburdened with other works. So a land acquisition officer, in case these are project-based things, so in case there is a new project coming up, it would be very useful to have a dedicated land acquisition officer for the entire stretch of the pipeline which passes through the particular state. This would give you the companies greater liberty, and the officer concerned would also have to focus on the limited issue of this right of way or land acquisition related to that particular company or that particular project only. This is one portion where we can improve. The second portion is regarding the issuance of EC or public hearing, which is called for. Public hearing, the usual practice is the state, the party applies to the GPC, the Pollution Control Board, and Pollution Control Board regional officer comes to the district magistrate regularly. He comes personally and gets the date. What is the convenient date? So after, let's say, you have to have 45 days notice because it has to come in the newspaper, etc. So usually we give a date after 60 days. The only problem which I have personally faced is that on that particular date, because you have to intimate in advance for 60 days, and the priorities of the government or priorities of disaster or crisis or any kind of, let's say, the chief secretary calls a meeting or something happens. So on that day, if the DM is not able to spare himself for the ADM, in that case, the hearing gets prolonged after next 60 days. So this is something which is inevitable and which happens quite often. So, but usually we try to do that. If the DM is not available, we depute our ADM to handle those public hearing. And these are the two places where we can improve our performance, I guess. The third suggestion, which was floated by you and is very welcome, is we usually, as district magistrate, we chair quite a number of meetings of different kind of things. So if we can have a meeting which is specifically related to petrochemicals or hydrocarbon related stuff in the district, because mine is a district which has a high hydrocarbon agglomeration concentrated here. So dedicating an hour or half an hour related to their particular issues would definitely improve. So we'll also incorporate your suggestion in Surat, and we'll also try to convene a meeting, at least a monthly meeting, so that the issues of different operators can be taken. One more thing regarding your FRA certificate. FRA certificate, I don't know what is the status in other states, but let's say if an operator, the roadside forests or roadside plantations are also declared as protected forest or reserve forest in Gujarat. So there are not going to be any rights subsisting on that roadside plantation. But in that case also, you have to obtain this whole lengthy procedure. The outcome is decided at the forefront ki road ke aaju baaju mein koi tribal ka ya, there are not going to be any rights. But still this process has to be followed. You have to convene Gram Sabha, you have to convene SDs, and this is sheerly wastage of time. The outcome is pre-decided that this is a roadside forest. It's not a proper forest. In that case, there are no rights going to come. So, but this is something which the Forestry Department of GOI and Hydrocarbons Department, they have to take at the GOI level. It is a sheer wastage of time. Yes, it passes through a jungle, it passes through a proper forest. There may be rights of the tribals, there may be rights of other groups, but not in roadside forest. So this is something which we can curtail. And as far as Surat is concerned, majority of the certificates which we receive for FRA are related to this roadside forest, the social forestry forests, which are not as a not to be considered forest for that purpose. So these are 2-3 things in which we can shorten the duration which is being faced, the constraint which is being faced by different players. This is what I had to say.
So thank you very much, sir. And you have agreed to have the monthly meeting. This will definitely help. And you have given the right point that the social forestry and being treated as a forest, so that you have to take up with the central government level. And thank you for your cooperation. Now, can I request the DM Barmer, please? DM Barmer also can say something, because I find him DM Barmer. Sir, you can say something. I think he is in phone. So I request your DM from DM North Tripura, you can tell your views, please. DM North Tripura. DM North Tripura.
आई थिंक डीएम बाना साहब बोल रहे हैं साहब, देख लीजिए.
Sir, अच्छा Barmer sir, DM Barmer sir, please. Sir, tell something.
May I request you to unmute yourself, please?
He is talking in phone. So can I first we will come to him later on. Let us go to DM Sepahi Jala Tripura. DM Sepahi Jala Tripura. Your comment, please. Sir, madam, your comment, please. DM not, yeah. DM, yes, A. So just any view, any your suggestions, sir?
So may I request you to unmute yourself, please?
Sir, unmute yourself. Unmute. We have also with us Mr. Arvind Jha. He is the DS MOPNG. So after hearing from all the recipients, we will request Mr. Jha also to see what is the thing, to tell his comments and views. Jha sahab is here. So we go to now to DC Namsai, Mr. R.K. Sharma. Mr. R.K. Sharma, DC Namsai.
Good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, you switch up the video, sir. Then it will be faster.
Sure. Fine. I believe DC Changlang has given a right direction to the discussion. In Arunachal
Yes.
Pradesh, that we make any delay in any sort of permission or anything. As of now, also perhaps nothing is pending in our state. So we will be quite happy to assist, may it be Oil India, may it be IOC, in their endeavor of ENP project. And these are concerned. Fine, timelines are already stipulated. In case of FRA also, there are timelines stipulated in case of land acquisition also. But in Arunachal Pradesh, there is again a situation where we have got two sort of land laws. One is acquisition under LARA and another is Zoom Land Regulation Act. So sometimes we find it difficult to decide as to under which act Oil India is asking for acquisition. So that is one part I would like to point out. Another thing is for single window system. Now after this VC, you are having a VC with state government also. So please take it up with state office so that a single window system can be opened and all these clearances can be cleared on single window system. So this much from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So now we go to DM North Tripura. DM North Tripura. DM North Tripura, please. DM North Tripura is coming on stream, Prasenjit.
Sir, may I request you to unmute yourself, please? Probably a network issue.
So now we request the representative, DM office Gandhinagar, DM office Gandhinagar.
जी सर it's district supply officer Gandhinagar from Gandhinagar collector office sir.
Yeah.
Sir, here we are as far as this we don't have particularly any oil block over here, but we do give permission in petroleum NOC and hazardous solvent permission we have to give. So, sir, our domain is Gandhinagar is limited to giving NOC to petrol pump only, sir. And we are here, sir, as far as this reducing the emission of this is concerned. We are having as on with ONGC support. We are having Urja Gram program going on over here in 2 of the villages. Survey going on that how we can reduce the emission and switch over to the green and renewable energy, sir.
Madam, and as a Vedanta, we have a block in your district. Also, ONGC has also a block. I think even we conducted public hearing in your district in Gandhinagar also in 2020 January.
Now we request Mr. Nagendra Dev Barma from Tripura, I think. Mr. Nagendra Dev Barma, sir, your view, please.
Sir, Gandhinagar.
DM Barmer, sir, is there, Prasenjit? DM Barmer. Now we can request.
Sir seems to have left.
Achha, now we can request Mr. Ranjit Konawat from Dibrugarh, please. Ranjit Konawat, ADC Dibrugarh. So Mr. Adhari Thomas. Somebody is there, Adhari Thomas, that link. Or ADC Tinsukia. Mr. Dipu Deka. So I now request our Arvind Jha sir to tell something. Or, anybody want to tell something? No. So I request Mr. Jha sir, you have gone through the presentation and you have seen that Mr. Devans, the DC Changlang, Mr. R.K. Sharma, and Mr. Dhavel Patel from Surat very elaborately told very few things. Now what industry side required also, and you being a MOPNG's administration side, so you have, what is your view, sir? Mr. Arvind Jha, please.
Hello.
Sir, you are not hearable, sir, or not audible.
Hello.
Yeah, now audible, sir.
Yes, sir, it's
Now
better
audible.
now.
Good afternoon, everybody. I was listening to many of the views presented regarding the clearances and the issue related to the delays. That day also, I was trying to understand that if there are certain issues like this person from Gujarat, Mr. Dr.
Dr.
from
Patel.
Gujarat, Collector Gujarat had pointed out, see, there are certain issues in which we like road, highways, and the forests taking undue time lag for the for our clearances. There are more issues in this in which there may not be anything which can be done. There are two aspects. One, intervention is required where the state government can straightway do away with any such clearances. I mean, the forest department of the state government. Other intervention is the government of India level. We require certain kind of legislation. That is, when I came to understand the delay that was being explained in terms of Assam. So we have to come to 2-3 points, broad points, on which without amendment in the act. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So until unless we have changes in the Government of India Act, the delay and the interventions and the discussions required at the level of Gram Sabha or the level of districts in a state, they have to be taken down. So until unless that undergoes a change, it may not be possible for the concerned authorities to make the clearances. This is one aspect. The other aspect, I still feel that there are certain areas in which it is not at all warranted. Like the DM Barodara was, Collector Barodara was explaining. So in all such things, we have to classify, there are certain kind of, in which there could be a via media in which nothing is required, something is required, and we can just find ourselves a way into it and make things a little faster. So our point of view at the point of DGH and in this summit, if we could find out some way out, Parisa, that could be a best way for us.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Mr. Narendra Dev Barma is there. Sir, your views, sir. Anything, sir? Please. Sir, say something.
May I request to unmute yourself, sir, please?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
This is a very nice presentation. And in our districts, ONGC, we have taken up but there is a small project in our district taken up by the ONGC. So land acquisition matters almost completed. We will be doing it soon. And the methodology hearing also done with there are three landowners. We have done hearing, so there is no any complaint or there is no bar. So we will be completing very soon, sir. And
second session का है
Please continue, sir.
Sir, there is nothing to say more, sir, on it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you very much, sir. With this, if anybody has any other view, and in the ENP operators who are there in the other channel, without your any specific without your any specific problem in general, if you have anything or any question has come, Mr. Prasenjit, in the chat box or anything.
No questions so
no
far.
question.
No
So then we just end this session, and we are thankful to all the DC, DMs, ADCs, ADMs, collectors, those who have taken their time, and in this COVID epidemic, that so much of hardship. So thank you very much, and we will share our presentation with you and with our suggestions, whatever. So in fact, it is how you take it and how it's possible, how much is possible, just to consider. So with this, we thank, and now we'll go for our session, our second session after 10 minutes. We'll continue for second session. Thank you very much, sir, for this session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
अभी विल स्टार्ट. मैडम मत जाइए, मैडम आपको भी सेशन है तो.
DSO Gandhinagar, you are calling, sir?
No, Gandhinagar, no, sorry. I thought Pal madam is having a session.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. So we will have now the second session. The second session will be discussed on the grant of PL and PML. So whether you want a break or no, we will continue. Sanjay, let us continue, no?
We can just continue, I think, since everyone is already here.
Whoever they are there. So whether Mr. Reddy has joined. Mr. Reddy has joined.
No, he doesn't seem to have joined.
So you just you have his number, or I'll give you. You have his number. Just talk with him once. If he joins, we start now. Because
Miss Chaya Rana's presentation is first, so I think we can
no,
start with
Charana is
that.
there. Okay, then we can start with Charana. So I request my all the ENP operators who are who have joined so far the fifth sessions. So please send your feedback form at least, because we have got now only left with one more session on 21st of May. This feedback only will, and there also in feedback you can mention that if you have not got any PowerPoint or anything of any session, those you can mention, and which are the sessions you like, which are the things, and where the in future what kind of topics you want to cover. So we have left only another one session. So we now start the next session on the PL/PML. Please bring my slide. So the today's second session, we just apologize for the delay. We were supposed to start at 4:15. We are now in 4:30, 15 minutes late. So this is because basically on the PL and PML grant for the oil blocks. We had a discussion earlier with the DCDMs, and we have told that the activity starts with the grant of PL, PML. So here we'll discuss about the prevailing systems and all. Next slide. We have with me Mr. Praveen Raghav, IFS, DGNC, and the senior DGH, and other senior officials from DGH and MOPNG, and oil gas ENP operator. And we have also with us Mr. Taser Talar. He's the director Geology and Mining, Government of Arunachal Pradesh, Itanagar. Thank you, Talar sir, for your present amidst a busy schedule. He had a very busy schedule, but I requested him and he agreed to join, and he has joined also. So we'll listen to him after we finish the normal course. As a speaker, we'll have Ms. Chaya Rana from IT Department DGH. She will explain you, this will be very, very much beneficial for the ENP operator. She will explain you that what is the prevailing online system available in DGH for applying to the grant of PL, PML. And the best part of it, this is also linked with the state government, all the concerned state government. I think one day I interacted with her, then she told me except one or two states, she will tell during her presentation. Your presentation, whatever you apply with DGH, it automatically goes to the respective states. So instead of applying a phrase, today you can discuss when during the process. So that link that she will tell. We have with us Ms. Suchitra Pal. She is the state geologist from Government of Tripura, and she will explain also about the PL, PML grant mechanisms in the state of Tripura. We have with us also Mr. B.G. Venkata Reddy. He is Director Mines and Geology, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Next slide. The global oil and gas, those who were attended earlier, this is the upstream. We will be discussing on the upstream side only. Next slide. This is the basins. This is for the knowledge of the Pal Madam was there. She had listened, but Mr. Reddy was not there during that in the earlier meeting. So left side is the basins. The middle one is the is the refineries which are coming, and right sides are the pipelines. Next slide. These are the states where the oil and gas CNP activities are going on and where we require the PL, PML. This is Assam, Arunachal, Tripura, Mizoram, Nagaland in the northeast. And other part we have got Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat and Tamil Nadu. And the states which are coming and the activity has a grant of PL, PML has started or going to start soon. Is in the state of Odisha, West Bengal, Andaman, Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra. Next slide. So this virtual interactive session, why we require? Next slide. This is just to know the details about the oil and gas ENP activities and prevailing regulations and mechanisms in getting PL and PML. So PL and PML the activity starts with the exploration, number 1, where searching for the oil and gas and deposits. Number 2 is appraisal, where you do the investigation of oil and gas volume and parameters. Number 3 is the development, installation of oil and gas equipment and drill the well. And number 4, the start production, oil extraction or gas extraction. Number 5 is abandonment, removing the surface facilities and plugging the well, you leave the site. Next slide. This is the total life cycle of an oil block. It varies 30 to 50 years. Exploration, it takes 1 to 3 or 10 to 15 years, 5 to 10 years, and 5 years, 1 to 5 years it takes for development, depending upon the field and the block and the facilities. And 15 to 30 or 15 to 50 years in the production you go, and during the development we do with the PML and exploration we do with the PL. Next slide. To do these activities, definitely we require Act regulations. Next slide. The prevailing Act and regulation for granting PL, PML for the oil and gas exploration is oil and gas ENP activities are governed under Oil Field Regulation and Development Act 1948, Petroleum and Natural Gas Rule 1959 made under the said Act, and the other mining activities are carried out under Mines and Mineral Regulation Development Act 1957 and Mineral Evidence of Mineral Content Rule 2015. Next slide. The grant of PML of the onshore and offshore blocks. Onshore blocks, it has to be allotted by the respective state government under provision of section 5(2) of Petroleum Natural Gas Rule 1959. Once the block allotted by the central government, and the offshore blocks, central government directly allows the both PL and PML under provision of section 5(1) of Petroleum and Natural Gas Rule 1959. Next slide. These are the total approval process. Now we will be discussing in this present forum only grant of PL and PML. Next slide. This is important to know to all of us, operator and the others. The PML block for private operators, if it contains forest land, it will require approval from central government under section 2(3) of FCA 1980 by filing the proper form A and by processing the application through the state government, and approval has to be given from the central government through the FSC meeting. If the PML block of PSU and government organizations containing forest lands, approval not required from central government under section 2(3). If the PL block contains forest lands, you do not require approval from central government for both private and PSUs. Then any PML block, not PL, any PML block, if it contains forest land, NPV 2% has to be paid. It is as per the Supreme Court order and the MOFCCC guidelines issued in June 2015. 2% NPV you have to pay for the forest land. It is mandatory. Next slide. These are for information to must know. With grant of PML, except seismic survey, no other activities can be started without obtaining EC and CT first. PML grant can only give you the right to carry out survey, but not the other activities. No work in forest land can be started after grant of PL, PML without first obtaining forest clearance under section 2(2). Section 2(2) is for diversion of forest land for non-forestry purposes. Commercial production not permitted during PL phase of operation. For commercial production, PL has to be converted to first to PML. PL is normally granted for 4 years and PML is granted for normally 20 years. PMLs are granted afresh. It is never regranted or renewed. Forest clearance are coterminous with the validity period of the PML. Once the PML expires, the forest clearance gets expired. Next slide. Grant of PL/PML is the prerequisite while applying for environment clearance and applying for cities, etc. from the central government. And the PML allotment letter from the government of India or whatever you get, will suffice the purpose of the as a land document which is required to be submitted in EC or city application. Those letters can be attached that this is my land document for that block. EC is not required while granting PL/PML because it is not required. Public hearing not required while granting PL/PML. Forest clearance is granted in the name of the lessee only to whom PL/PM is allotted and not to the operator for the JVCs. If a JVC contains only the block holder with the PML only will get the forest clearance. PL/PML can be transferred or assigned to the other party under provision of section 17 of PNG Rule 1959. FC also has to be transferred if the PML is transferred in full or part. It has the cases happened for the GeoInfra in Arunachal. The blocks from Oil India has been given to Arunachal, but the forest clearance was not transferred in the name of the GeoInfra. As a result, those were treated as a violation in the case of GeoInfra. So, along with the transfer or part or full transfer of PML, please ensure that your FCs also gets transferred. Under provision of section 28A1 of the PNG Rule 1959, MOPNG has got the power by issuing gazette notification. It can permit an operator to extract hydrocarbon beyond the block boundary of the PL and PML. Through a special gazette notification, MOPNG can permit under provision of Rule 28.1 of PNG Rule. Next slide. So oil and gas PML has got a very uniqueness, unlike the other minings which are granted under MMDR Act. This is very, very important things to note. And also I would like to draw attention of the state mining and geology department also. The grant of PML gives only the access right, preferential right over the area, not the right to start operation without obtaining applicable clearance and approvals. So grant of PML does not give the right to work. So nothing to worry for that. And only 2 to 3% of the PL/PML block area is used for oil and gas E&P activities. And another advantage of PL/PML block, surface encroachment can coexist over the PML or PL block. It need not be encroachment free because even a building is there 4 kilometers below, there are technology available from far distance that we can access the reservoir. So it did not be encroachment free. And PML block area is never PL/PML block area is never fenced like the other mining leases executed under MMDR Act. There you have to make the fencing and boundary. Here the area remains open and accessible to everybody, and as it is. There is no hold right like that. The operator ki I am holding the whole land. No, that is not there, which is there for the other mining activity under MMDR Act. Because there is no fencing, normal activity can continue. Before start of E&P activities in oil and gas block, local stakeholders are taken on board from the day one. This is mandatorily followed by all statutory, all E&P operators, whether PSU, private, everybody. Next slide. This is just to show you the one rig, how it shows with the defined component. Next slide. This is how we are showing that this is like this type of only 130 meter by 30 meter 2 hectare areas. Like this type of areas is used for exploration during PL phase. Out of the total area, only 2 to 3% of area. And within 3 to 4 months, the drilling of a well is completed at a depth of 3 to 4 kilometers. Next slide. This is, we have shown that oil and gas activities does not affect the environment. You can see the greenery of the area where in the 5.3 square kilometer Digboi town, which is called the oil city of Assam, where 132 years ago, 1889, the first well was drilled. First in the India in Asia and second in the world. And more than 1,000 wells were drilled, and you see the greenery, it has not affected the environment. Next slide. And the other mining you can see, and this is visible to you everybody. The other mining, how it happened. Next slide. And the oil and gas activities also does not cause any subsidence effect on the land. And this has been established with a recent study taken up by Oil India in the northeastern field, where 132 years oil and gas exploration activities are continued since 132 years. And July 2019, the study through the through National Remote Sensing Center of Indian Space Research Organizations, it has given a result that there is no subsidence effect seen in Assam, Arunachal, and the whole belt, which are marked with the yellow dots. Those were the study area. Next slide. The activity starts in the PL/PML. Next. It is with the same idea explained: exploration, appraisal, development, production, and the abandonment. Next slide. This is the first step of after getting the block, and once the onshore PL/PML is granted by the state government, then the operator goes for the survey, seismic survey, and the seismic survey only helps the operator to decide which of the area to be where to be drilled. Next slide. Once the discovery is there, then we go for through refining process and distillation process. We get various products, which in the right side we have shown: bitumen, lubricant, fuel oil, diesel, like that. Next slide. The current status: the vast area remains unexplored, and blocks are relinquished by the operators. The oil and gas activities current scenario in Indian sedimentary basins. Next slide. There is 218 blocks relinquished by the contractor out of 310 blocks, and 16 more are under process. The cause of delay, cause of relinquishment is basically delay in getting so many clearance at central and state levels and permissions, which the international and the reputed companies are not able to afford, because your PL is granted for 4 years, and normally if you see in the forest clearance, etc. in Northeast, it takes 3-4 years. And if you take the CL and FRS 2006 certificate associated with the forest clearance, that again takes some cases 5 years, some cases 3 years. So this much is these are the hurdles. So Government India wants to do expeditiously the exploration, but the things need to be changed in the ground. Next slide. These are our reserves in the Indian basins, and 80% are undiscovered in the category 1 block, and there 85% reserves are lying untapped. Next slide. The action by Government of India for faster approval. Next slide. The Union Cabinet has constituted the Empowered Coordination Committee. It is called ECC, under chairmanship of Cabinet Secretary, with the members: Secretary Cooperation, Cabinet Secretary, Secretary MOPNG, Secretary MOFCC, DG and DG Forest and Special Secretary MOFCC, Secretary Ministry of Defense, Secretary Ministry of Home Affairs, Secretary Department of Space, and DG DGH is the convener, where the chief secretaries of the states are also participated, and PCCF and HOP, as well as PCCF Wildlife of the states. So far 3 meetings have taken place. Last one on 14 September 2020, and 4th one is going to happen soon. Next slide. So state governments, this is the directive from the cabinet secretary in the third ACC meeting held on 14 September 2020. The state government has to appoint an additional chief secretary level officer in the state to review the pending all issues, PL, PML, EC, FCF, wildlife clearance, etc. monthly basis. Next slide. So government of India is leading towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat. So stakeholder concerned department of the state can contribute a lot towards this cause by granting PL, PML in a time-bound manner. This is the pending issues as on date. How much? 62 pending issues are there. We'll show you. In the state of Assam, we have got pending 2 PML. These are the long pending cases we are discussing here. In the state of Arunachal Pradesh, we have got 2 PMLs pending. In the state of Tripura, we have 1 PL. In the state of Nagaland, we have got 6 PLs and 5 PMLs. There is some court litigation is going on. Andhra Pradesh, we have pending 4 PL and 24 PMLs. In Tamil Nadu, we have got 2 PL and 13 PMLs pending. Rajasthan 2 PL and Gujarat 1 PML. As of now, we have got total 62 PL PMLs are pending, and till then, no activity can be started in those areas. Next slide. So we request the State Department to kindly to expedite this pending 62 cases. And after our Ms. Chaya Rana presents, and then we'll discuss about the second point about the integration of the DGS portal with the state portal. So now you can finish this mine one here. Now we can invite Ms. Chaya Rana to go her presentation. Followed with we'll go with Pal Madam, state geologist from Tripura. Then we'll go to Mr. Reddy. Mr. Reddy has joined.
No, he hasn't joined yet.
Okay, I'll ring him, but you start with Ms. Chaya Rana.
Good evening, everyone. I am audible to you?
Yeah, audible. Your PowerPoint has not come yet, but you're not visible, madam.
Yeah, my video is off. So please upload my PPT, which I have shared you.
They are uploading. Uploading, na? Yeah.
Yeah, so here we are discussing about the PL-PML application system, which I have developed by the, so next slide, please. So these are the topics which we discussed: brief overview, key features, and why we need this system, advantages and unified application form, and stakeholders and functionality. Next slide. So basically this system gone live since October 2019. So it is user access based application display. So basically there are broad categories of users. One is for DGH users, second is for stakeholders, and third one is for MOPNG, central government. And operator will be apply for application. So this is the URL I have given by which everyone can access the system. I have shared this also. Till now, in online application, we have received 67 application, out of which PL 25, PML 42, and offshore 19 and onshore 48. 10 states registered in our system: Assam, Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, and West Bengal. Tamil Nadu is not on the board, and also Andhra Pradesh is not also on the board. But these 10 states already registered in the system. Next slide, please. So this system is highly secure, and we have single shared session across the application. So it is it is having an interactive dashboard by which user can view the application. User can view at which level application is pending, so that he can interact with the user and ask how will it take times and where the stoppage is created. Next slide, please.
So why we need online PML application system? First point is late submission by the operator leading to delay in approvals. When we apply offline, then it will be late delay in approvals. So we need this system where operator can apply for the application, and state can also do the system steps on the online, and central government also can take the action on the system, so that everything seems to be seamless. Next slide, please. These are the advantages of application system. Unified application form. We have created a unified application, common application form for all the states, for all the regimes, for everyone. There is a single application form. Defined timeline for application processing. There will be a timelines defined for everyone to take process the application. Single source of information, single interface for operator, parallel processing of file at center and state. Next slide, please. Next one. So this is the format of application form. It is not visible because it is very long. So there are 4 tabs. This is PML application. General tab, proposed PML area, technical details, other details, and payment details. Here, operator will submit the application in this format. Next one. So these are basically showing the particular tab. This is proposed PML tab. Next one, please. This is also the same thing. Next. Next one. This is payment details. Here operator can submit the payment details regarding bank account number and CRN reference number and payment document. He can also upload the payment document which he has already paid to the state government or central government. Next one. Now this is for PL application. Same layout is the same. Some things are different other than PML. Next one. Next. Next. So this is the operator view. This is the dashboard which operator can view. Here he can view at which level his application is pending, since what time it is pending, and if it is granted, then he will download the grant order, and if it is rejected, then why it is rejected, the reason of rejection. He can get the status of every step. So this is the operator view and operator dashboard. Next one. This is the same PL final dashboard because application is submitted in 2 mode, draft mode and final mode. So this is the representation of these 2 modes. Next, please. Next one. Next. So basically, this is the overview of DGH. Firstly, operator will submit the application, then it will goes to DGH, and simultaneously it will goes to the state nodal officer which have been registered in the system. So simultaneously state can take the action and DGH also take the action. So DGH official will look out the application, then he will process the application and he will forward to the central of government, MOPNG. Then MOPNG will take the action, and simultaneously state also take the application. So it will decrease the delay of time. Next, please. This is the state view. There are 3 users in the state we have configured. First is state nodal, second is state technical, and third is state district. So first role is state nodal. State nodal is the common point which will interact with which will communicate with the DGH. If we want to raise the query, then query is raised by only state nodal to the DGH. And state nodal has the power to forward the application to state technical or to state district also. So we have in the system, each district level is also registered with us. Like Assam, in Assam there are districts. So for each district there is a district level. And this is the application ministry view. At MOPNG, this is the view of application. Next one, please. So this is the state nodal dashboard. Okay, so when the operator apply the application, then it will go simultaneously to the state nodal. Then state nodal will open the application and he will see the three buttons on the top: forward, reject, and print. So he can do these three functionalities. He can forward the application to the state technical, and he can also forward the application to the state district level. And he has also the right to reject the application. He can grant the application, and he can also take the printout of the application. Next one, please. And this is the application view with state, district, and technical roles. So when a state nodal will forward the application to state district, then he will open the application, he will give his comments and then return back to the state nodal. Same thing is done by technical. Technical also evaluate the application and give comments and then send back to the state nodal. Next one. Next. This is the application with ministry, like MOPNG. MOPNG also have three roles: director, under secretary, joint secretary. So there is a flow under secretary, then director, then joint secretary. The application is approved by the joint secretary finally. Next one. Next. And this is the query system. If anyone has a query regarding the application, like operator forget to upload the documents, then he can raise a query, and then operator will upload the document, whatever be the missing, he can upload it. So here is the query system for that. Next, please. So this is the system we have designed, and right now also we are using it. And state also have the applications pending at their level, but they are not taking any actions. We have already mailed the user credentials to their respective mails, which we are getting.
So thank you, madam. So this was what I can tell my ENP operators, even when I was not associated with DGH. DGH, I was not knowing this type of system available in this thing. So the system is totally available and existing in the system, integrated with DGH, MOPNG, state, district level. I will just ask my personal interest, madam. Out of the states of Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu, which state you think is not integrated? Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. All are integrated, or not something?
Tamil Nadu is not integrated. All are integrated.
So you see, now you can see this thing that except Tamil Nadu, the whatever application wants to submit with DGH, it is being so nicely being linked with the state mechanisms that separate application submission to the individual state we can avoid, because thing has already gone to the online system, which may not be being effectively dealt or treated now, which have to be streamlined of this thing. And I will request my ENP operator that Ms. Chaya Rana has designed this system, and you can contact her and make best use of this system, so that your system, when it gets approved from here, it goes to state, and your clock can start from that day, instead of you submit again an application separately to the state. That's what I perceive that this is being followed by the others. If this goes automatically, and if the system starts what has been transferred from DGH to the state portal, so if it is continued, then the things can be more faster and more it can have a more transparency that where delay had happened and all those. So those things much better can be explained to you when you interact with Chai Madam after the anything. So now we request Ms. Shruti Pal, the state geologist, present to present her topics, please. Madam, floor is yours. She is the state geologist, and and we just requested her, and she agreed to give a presentation instantly. She's there or not?
No, yeah, she's there. She's there. Ms. Paul, can I ask you to unmute yourself, please?
And upload here her presentation. Yeah, madam.
Sir, shall I take over?
Yeah. Now floor is yours.
Respected officials from Directorate General of Hydrocarbon, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, and other officials from different states, it's a really pleasure for me to get a chance to speak over here. So there are some difficulties, and especially the online issues that has been discussed. I would just like to mention, as far as the state of Tripura is concerned, so we have actually undertaken this online system of application, especially for PEL and PML, and also for depositing various fees. So basically, there are three main parts we have undertaken through district reform, system that we have recently undergone in our state. So it is almost done, and we will surely shortly we will give the address of the portal through which it can be done. So with this, I'll just present my state, the condition of natural gas or hydrocarbon as a whole in state of Tripura, because we are very much well known because of natural gas. Other minerals we are not really having. So this is the some big points that I would focus on. Please, next slide. Next, please. Please, next. Just before this one. Please go to the last one. Okay, this is actually I'm talking here about the structure that has been identified, natural gas structure that has been identified in Tripura. We have basically 24 structure which has been identified by ONGC, the oldest operator in the state of Tripura, along with Jogpal, we say Jubilant Oil and Gas Limited, who is having one block, which is a NELP block in Tripura. So out of 24 structure, we have, not this one, sir, please, before last one. Slide number 2, sir. Yes, this is the one. Yeah, this is the one. So, sir, we can see there are 24 structure and 18 are proved, and the structure yet to prove, we have 6 structure. And the structure which are the 6 structure, these are coming under the area of Jubilant Oil and Gas, who has a NELP block in Tripura. They have recently got one PML out of that block. So right now they are having one exploration block and one petroleum mining lease in Tripura. Next, sir. Next, please.
Madam, can I request you to switch off your video? I think there's a bandwidth issue, so you're looking at the slides a bit delayed. So
Okay.
because yeah, maybe because of bandwidth, it'll be easier. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, can you see the
Oh,
slide now?
yeah, I can see
Yeah,
the
yeah.
slides now.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Thanks.
Yeah. So, sir, in these slides we are presenting the PML area and the area of PEL that ONGC is having. ONGC is mostly having the nominated blocks. Apart from that, they have one NEL block and one ONHP block, open accredited, that they have recently received. Next one, so total area ONGC is having is 4,035 square kilometer. Next, please. And apart from this, we have recently given 6 blocks in the state. So these blocks, you can see out of that, Oil India is having 2 blocks. One is PEL, another is PML. Again, ONGC got 2 blocks. One block was given to Vedanta, and one PML was given to Jubilant Oil and Gas. Next, please. So in Tripura, actually, we are having around 10,492 square kilometer area, out of which 50% of our area has been, you can say, we have given in lease for hydrocarbon exploration or production. So, and we are also expecting some more blocks to come in future. So you can see PML, we have 3,323 square kilometer. And PEL, we have around 2,386 square kilometer. The operator who are working in Tripura is basically ONGC, Oil, Jubilant, in Vedanta. Next, please. Next, please.
Madam, it has come to us, production by ONGC financial year 2019-20. I think your case it is going slow.
Yes, I cannot see, sir. Anyway, okay, I'll just.
I am reading, you can tell. Production by ONGC financial year 2019-20, 4.02 mm SCMD. Gas supply commitment by ONGC 4.96. Work by other operators are under implementation. Now, now it is, you are not still able to see.
Next slide is excellence, where I'm just presenting few very nice points about the gas deposit that are found in Tripura. Thus, our success ratio is 2:1. Means if you go for 2 wells drilled, out of 2 wells, 1 well surely will be getting a huge saturation of natural gas. This is a result that we have got from ONGCs. So next is that the methane content of the gas is so good that you have 90%, 95% of the methane in the gas, and so you can understand the calorific value that the gas is going to give, sir. And formation, we have the Tipam sandstone formation, which is the main target formation for natural gas in Tripura, and it is so well, and the zone is so nicely interconnected that you don't have to go for any artificial fracking or developing any kind of cleavage or fractures in the formation. So because of the pores that are already available in the formation, you get a free flow gas into the well. Next, please. And it is very cost effective also when you go for drilling. So, sir, in way forward, we have some very good points that we have drawn from Vision Hydrocarbon 2030, developing Tripura as a dominant hub at forefront of Indian energy map. And then you must have heard that recently we have gone for Feni Bridge and development of Chittagong port in Bangladesh, so which will open up a international gateway for Tripura. And we are also planning to target the SAARC countries through that port. And of course, we are also, one point I have not mentioned here is that IGGL, which is coming to Tripura within 1 or 2 years. They are already in progress and working in Tripura, Indradhanush gas grid, for which we would require a good reserve here. And also we will have a continuous source of gas coming to Tripura, which would give a support to the economy. And next is, sir, this is a picture of OTPC, ONGC Tripura Power Company, which is one of the biggest in Asia, producing 726.6 megawatt of electricity. We are also exporting electricity from OTPC. So that's all I wanted to have present a glimpse of Tripura in front of you. Thank you.
So thank you, madam. So we are finding that Tripura has got a good prospect on the gas business.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to show that one because maybe this is a small state and people do not have a very good idea about what we are having. That's why I thought this is the chance I have when I can present my state, my good things of my state, and so that everybody get attracted and DGH pays some more attention and gives some more blocks in Tripura, sir.
No, madam, in OLP 6 round is coming very soon. There are more blocks will be coming in Tripura. Tripura is coming more OLP 6 round. And just one thing, my personal question, madam, that you have got one Swagat portal, the Swagat portal in the state.
Yes, sir, we have Swagat.
Whether your PL/PML, that online system will be tagged with Swagat portal. Or no,
Sir, Swagat also you can go, or otherwise also we have that DREP, District Reform Action Policy. So DREP portal also you can connect, like you will land into the same thing.
Achha. Now, madam, what our Chaya told just during her presentation, that linkage what is having with the state. So it is already established with your state, or it has to be established, or you have to do some fine tuning?
Sir, something has to be done, and there is a issue with NIC because NIC has been given charge of doing all these things that are related to software. So that part is little bit work has to be done through NIC, sir. But we are taking up, and also, sir, apart from these, that Empower Committee, we have nominated our nodal officer and nodal department for Empower Committee meetings, sir. And we are constantly following whenever there is some kind of issues coming up in Empower Committee meeting, like it's always sorted out properly, and we are well connected with the Empower Committee.
Now there is a question for Chaya. Chaya, you are there, no, Chaya? Chaya, you are there. Chaya?
Yes.
Yeah, there is a link. There is a link.
Chaya, there is a question from Kaye Kemas ONGC. He is asking that the question I am reading, Madam, a PL block is granted for 4 years by state government, and after expiry for extension, should we apply online?
Yeah, online, sir, online. Fee deposit is also online.
Okay. So now our next speaker is Mr. Venkat Reddy. Mr. Venkat Reddy is not there. Mr. Venkat Reddy is not there. We have his presentation, so we can run through. I think he got stuck somewhere because he has already sent the presentation. But before we go to the Reddy, I will request that Reddy's presentation, I will request with us Mr. Taser Talab. He is the Director Geology Mining, Government of Arunachal Pradesh, Itanagar is here. We just want to see you, sir, show your face and just say one, two things about your state. Mr. Taser Talab, Director Geology.
I would take a break because we have curfew here right now.
Okay,
And
madam.
I'm in the office. I need to go home, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
So, Mr. Tasib Talar, you are there?
Sir, may I ask you to unmute yourself, please? Yes.
Yeah, very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you very much.
Your photo is not coming. Video.
Okay.
We want to see you, they'll hear you.
Oh, thank you. So I think if there is any issue.
Okay. You can tell. Video is not coming.
Yeah, very good afternoon.
Visible. Slightly down your camera. Half face is coming, half face. Yes. Now perfect. So he is Mr. Tasib Talar. I think sound is on mute. He is Mr. Tasib Talar, Director Geology Mining, and we are having frequent interaction with him for so many years, and he is very helpful to the oil gas sector, and he has helped us for our Ningru extension, GN Pros, this Kharsang block, and now the HOCL Kerem block. And we together were also planned for the geological development under his leadership. We had a plan to host a workshop in Itanagar on March 14-15, and we were almost through because of COVID we failed. So, sir, since you are present, I thought that before I play the PowerPoint from the Director of Geology Mining of Andhra Pradesh. If you can tell something, your experience about the things or all other mineral activities in Itanagar, Arunachal.
Yes. Good afternoon to all of you. Thank you very much, Lahiri Saab, for inviting me to say a few words. And this is a really very wonderful workshop, and we are sharing all the informations and other activities being undertaken by various states. So in Arunachal, we have a big potential in oil and natural gas. Recently, Government of India Director General Hydrocarbon has granted 7 PEL blocks to Oil India Limited and 3 blocks to Vedanta. And if there is any queries, I think everything is running smoothly. So we are vigorously pursuing the matters with the concerned department to speed up the clearances. So any issues, any queries, you can ask.
No, sir. So any queries we'll go and ask you at Itanagar or disturbing you there. So here only we just since you are here, you have attended by leaving your other assignment. So I thought to see you, and so let others get an opportunity to see you. So now thank you. So now I request to upload the presentation of Mr. Reddy. Since he is not there, we just go through. This is the presentation on behalf of Mr. Reddy. He already sent. He was supposed to be there. I don't know. He might have got stuck in some reasons or something emergency. He is not lifting the phone. So he has given the process flow of grant of renewal of petroleum exploration license PL. So applicant this flow. So this will be shared with you. So I'm not going to read what are the all steps. Next slide. This is the process flow grant of renewal of petroleum mining lease. Earlier one was PL. Here he has shown it is the PML. It's a very good flow, so you can follow this one. He has given it the thing applicant, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, everything, ADMG, DMG, all the steps he has given. Every steps he has given a breakup. It's a very nice breakup. It will be helpful for everybody. Next slide. So process of submission of application for PML, he has given the process of submission of application. Private operator who have owned the oil and gas field to discover small field policy are requested to submit fresh application in case of PML in the name of ONGC is expired. So he has mentioned that in some cases, some DSF blocks allotted to the other small operator where the national oil company's PML actually got expired. So in that case, the DSF owner has to apply for the PML appraise. Because the PML validity is not there, so the DSF block PML, he has to apply appraise. Next slide. So a brief overview of petroleum exploration license, rights of PL holder, area, application fee, annual license fee, terms of PL, security deposit, all those amounts, the details he has given. And license fee per square kilometer also calculation he has given year 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 and 6. Next slide. The brief overview of petroleum mining lease, he has given also similar way, the rights of PL holder, area, application fee, and the square kilometer, terms of PML, security deposit, etc. Next slide. Status of PML grants in Andhra Pradesh. He has given that 8 in East Godavari, 7 West Godavari, 5 in Krishna districts. And this is the total of 20 petroleum mining leases covering 4.472 square kilometer have been granted. State of Andhra Pradesh in 2017, of which 16 PMLs were granted in 2020. Next. Thank you. So this slide we will share with you. So is there any question to anybody? No.
No questions.
So we just finish it, and thank you very much for all of you for being here. We were supposed to finish it by 5, now it is 5:20. And we only request to all the operators present that please send your feedback in, by next week at least, so that we can evaluate for the future programs. So thank you, and wish you all a good health, and please take care, because this COVID is very serious. We request to be to follow all the protocols. Please, thank you very much. Please.
Thank you, sir. I'm Shukanta Roy from SR Oil and Gas. Thank you. It's a very, very good program you have organized in the covering all the permit sector, starting from the environmental clearance, forest clearance, and DGH. Thanks a lot. We got lot of inputs and a lot of information through that four days program.
So
Thank
now
you. Sir.
Next one, no, 21st one will be good. There you will be getting the inputs of OSD on the offshore, onshore. Then there you will be getting inputs on the PNGRB. Then there will be inputs on the Mr. Sharad Polaria will tell about the Poribesh portal. Now, when you apply, what are the hitches you get, difficulties you get, and the all policy issues. So next 21st, because 14th next Friday we are not doing, because I think next Friday is holiday. So 21st, so that will be a good, because that will be a kind of mixed bag. There we are not calling anybody. Those are the only for information for the ENP operators, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's also helpful. Thank you. I'll be send the feedback. Obviously, some point we have found that like forest clearance, they give us some standard time frame. They said within 100 months the clearance will be obtained, but actually it's not happened.
It is not happening.
So there is a huge gap between the actual and that theoretical and practical.
No,
These are the okay, but overall that program is very, very informative. Thanks a lot for organizing such a program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So thank you, sir. We call it a day. Thank you, Mr. Social Friendly. Nicely doing it. So hope for another one more thing sessions. Then we'll give you the final thank you. Thank you.